presentation contains adult dialogue not suitable for all audiences. Brought to you by Media Listen. Viewer discretion is advised.
Media Listen.
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 Media Listen. You are now listening to Media Listen. Man. Welcome everybody to a whole new episode, whole new season, whole new whatever of Media Listen. I'm your host, Ricky with the Y, aka Mr. Thick and Nasty, Thick and Tasty, and according to my wife, aka Petty Ricky, or Rick on a Budget is my new one as written down. But as you guys can tell, I have a brand new episode today. I welcome you all back to the Media Listen broadcasting studio right here in the comfort of my own home. We have a comment already. Oh, sorry, Mom. But yeah, I do want to go ahead and introduce my co-host. Welcome Addie to the building. She's back.
Where's the
Back once
applause
again
button?
for season 2. And we have our very special guest today, Mr. Alex Martinez, in the building.
Hey,
Which this episode is going to revolve around him mostly. Before we get started, I do want to go ahead and ask Addie what we were talking about just a little while ago. We were talking about how Target, Bud Light, and all these other different entities are kind of pushing the agenda of trans or LGBTQ. They're kind of pushing it a little too far. I don't know if you Alex have an opinion on that.
Yeah, I don't think it's cool.
You don't think it's cool, man? Man, I want to argue with somebody. I know there's somebody here that has to approve of this.
Yeah, nah, I don't think it's cool.
You don't think it's cool? Yeah, man, I think, hold on. We got a comment right here. Hello. Oh, okay. You got Addie.
That was me.
I was like, it's Addie. But yeah, yeah, like we were talking about it, like, man, I feel like they're doing a little too much to try to push the agenda. And that's kind of dividing a whole lot of people, a lot of us who, I mean, I get it. Some of us have to live with some choices and whatnot. I don't have a problem with the LGBTQ community. I don't even know how many letters they have. Is it LGBTQ plus?
I think they added some I in there. LGBTQIA plus.
I'm gonna just let it know for what I know. It is like LGBT. That's all I'm gonna say, because all those extra letters and symbols, I'm not gonna try to do that. But anyways, I have no problem with them. They can live their life as they please. However, don't push it on me, because at the end of the day, I'm not pushing anything on them. Like I mentioned,
Don't push it on the kids.
Don't push it on the kids, especially. Let kids be kids, man.
I think that's where I'm not really cool about it.
You know,
kids, it's like
I don't have no problem with them at all. Like I have gay friends. I have, all kinds.
no.
He left. I'm gonna tell him that.
No, he's still. And it's interesting because some of the sweetest people I've met are part of the LGBTQ. And even some of them are like trying to not. You can see that some members are no.
Hey,
he's having very bad weather in his area, so I think the weather is affecting his.
Yeah, we do want to mention that it is
Wi-Fi.
raining over here in Houston. For those of you who are watching us elsewhere in another state,
From
another country, overseas, man. I found people in Nigeria, man. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for being supporters of the podcast, man. I greatly appreciate you guys. But yeah, we're dealing with a whole bunch of rain here in Houston, so my boy is experiencing a whole lot of bad signal, bad reception in his area. We're trying to get him back on here. I think he froze. There he is.
Yay.
He froze again. Hey, it's gonna happen, man. That's the That's the bad thing about doing episodes like this, because there's going to be certain people that live in a bad area. Like my cousin, for example, one of my cousins, for example, lived in the country, but I felt like we could have done more with that episode. But yeah.
But the signal can be bad.
The signal was horrible. She lives out in the country, so it was like no signal whatsoever. She had to
this
go outside.
This is Texas, so we in the country, like
we're Well, she lived in the country.
The country.
Let me see if I could hold on. Let me see if I can help Alex real quick.
Yay.
I'm gonna remove him and add him. Alex, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Huh? Okay. So we can't. He can hear us, but we cannot see him. But I think that's better than nothing, right?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. The weather, it was bad. I know, like, I went to the store earlier and all the lights at the red lights were flashing. They weren't working. Yeah. I don't know.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's all good, man.
Traffic.
As long as you could hear us, I think that'll be good. For
try
the
one more time.
Me?
I did. I did. I jumped back in. I jumped back in twice already. I don't know what's going on.
Damn.
It's okay as long as we can hear you and you can hear us. I think that should be good enough. But do you want to tell people exactly a little bit about yourself and exactly like the topic of this episode, why it revolves around you?
I'm never been too good at explaining about myself, but from what you told me, right, was about fatherhood and stuff.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know if your wife ever mentioned, I had my son since he was 2 years old.
Okay.
I had him until he was about 7. And his mom was like going through things, and I was just like, okay, I'll keep him. So I kept him for like almost 5 years. And then she came back into his life, and like she was like, I want my son back. And I didn't have the heart in me to be like, no, you were gone for X amount of time. I've grown accustomed, because obviously I felt like I had like a mom feel. Like I was like he's mine. Like, no, you walked out,
Yeah.
And I just didn't want my son to tell me in the future, like if there was a chance for my mom to be in my life, why didn't you? Yeah. Why didn't you let me? And so like I always was like, I let her, he went back to live with her, and I get him weekends and stuff, but still, for a while it hit me, and I was kind of low-key depressed because I was used to him. I taught him how to bathe, and I used to cut his little fingernails and take him get his haircuts and pick him up and drop him off from daycare and things like that. So like, I've always been like, that's one thing I'm very sure. I'm not too positive about a lot of things in life because things go up and down.
Yeah.
But one thing I'm very positive is that I feel like I'm a great father, and I've always been there, like 100% since the moment she was like, hey, I'm pregnant, like everything. Like I was just like, I'm trying to be the parent I wish I had. That's my main motto. When people ask me, I say, just be the parent you wish you had.
Yeah.
Because I had, I didn't have very great parents at all. So I just, I couldn't walk out on my son, and he's my only one. I only have one. I don't think I'm gonna have any more. So he's 9 now. He'll be 10 this year, and that's the main thing. Just trying to be a good dad. I'm a dad, and I work, and I gym, and I make time for him, and that's pretty much it, dude. Like, I just try to be the best I can be to him and myself as well.
Yeah. But, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And you say you took care of him from what age again?
From 2 years old to about 6. A little bit past 6, maybe closer to 7. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned you didn't really have a good relationship with your parents?
No, my biological father, he got incarcerated when I was like 4 maybe.
Uh-huh.
And he used to beat on my mom really bad. Like,
okay.
Like he like bad. And I remember seeing all that as a kid. And so I didn't see him again. he got incarcerated, and I think being like a first gen Hispanic, Hispanic person, he got his I don't remember whichever one, residency, green card revoked. He did his time in prison, and he got sent back to and he just never came back and never. Yeah, I've never seen him since I was like 5.
Wow.
And then as far as my mother, like everything was pretty good until like my stepdad came in the picture, and it's an ugly saying, but you know how it is. If it's not your kid, like you don't love them or treat them as they were yours. So, which sucks because he used to treat me bad as well. So I never had a positive male figure, role model figure in my life. So that's why I tell myself, just be the parent you wish you had. Just be the dad I wish I had. You know
what's crazy is that I see that most of the kids that I grew up with that didn't have a father figure in their life have become one of the best parents to their kids. I see them hanging out with them. I see them, giving them so much love and so much attention. And I think to myself like, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing to see, because they could have easily been like, nah, fuck that. Like, why should this little punk have the life that I never had, or you know what I'm saying? Like they could have easily just said that, but they didn't. They said, you know what, I want to be the parent that I never had, or the father that they never had.
Or a lot of parents also are like that kind of like, oh well, I didn't have it easy, neither should they, or like that's just how the way that I was raised or wasn't raised. Like if I don't have a parent, well then But like he said it himself. He said like, I want to be the parent that I wish I had. Like, that's
I get
really
the
strong
discipline.
Right there.
Like I get the discipline, and I get it. Like I was a kid, and I've always been really rambunctious and like just kind of outgoing. And I think I was always mad though. I was always just angry person. I was always an angry kid growing up. So like I get it. I acted out. Everybody acts out, and seeking attention. And I get it. You got to reprimand your kid. You got to ground them. You got to spank them. But like, and I do that to my son, but to an extent. Like, I don't spank him like that. I don't, I talk to him more. And even now as an adult, I apologize to him, because I tell him, hey, look, dude, even though I'm grown, like I mess up. I mess up a lot, and I've messed up with you, and I'm sorry. And it helps a lot with him.
Well, I think it's incredible that you kept that mindset on you, that, wow. I think that's incredible. I really think that's incredible that you could have easily gone a different way, and you decided to be there for your son, especially.
Yeah.
Yo.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Like,
okay.
Yeah. Like, y'all went blank. I can see y'all. I don't know if y'all can see me.
No. We can see you. We can see you. You're a little glitchy. Cool. You're a little glitchy, but it's nothing that can affect us, because we could hear you perfectly fine on this side.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So, before we get started, I want to go ahead and give Addie the floor, the main microphone, because she's gonna be the one that's gonna be asking you her questions, basically, because she has her questions and I have mine. So I'm gonna give her the floor to ask her questions first.
All right.
So,
hit it.
Well, now I have to rephrase some of my little notes because we went into this kind of blind. But
hey, I speak Spanish too. So like, if there's something like where you can't explain to me in Spanish as well, I speak Spanish very fluently. Yeah.
Good. This is great. So I think my first question is, I guess, do you and the mom get along? Like still?
We do now, but not at first.
Like
not at
what
first.
changed?
Like, she changed. She was the one that changed. She actually openly admitted to me and was like, after we broke up, I made it my purpose to not let you be happy and make your life a living hell. She actually told me, and then I don't know, like she just apologized one day, and I told her, hey, we're grown, and like we can't be doing this back and forth stuff. So ever since he went back with her, which is going on 3, almost 4 years, we've been great. Like we're good, like, and she got married, she remarried, she has another baby, And I think honestly that might have been the thing. You know, she met somebody and you know was like, hey, well, because I've been out the picture. Like I was like, we have nothing in common. We obviously we were young, so I'll be completely honest. You know, y'all let me be honest. It was just a physical attraction. Physical attraction. It was just the sex. Nothing in common. Like not even same music, same likes, same anything. It was just sex. No, yeah, it was just sex, and we produced the kid, and you know that it wasn't a mistake, but it was not a well thought of, and neither side of us had a mature person telling us like, "Hey, y'all are messing up. Hey, y'all shouldn't do that. Hey, y'all should slow down." You know, so that's where the I didn't have a male positive role model to tell me, hey, look, man, like you shouldn't, you know, you should slow down. Instead, I had somebody tell me like, you know, because she's a very attractive woman. They're like, man, bro, she's fine, bro. She's this and that, bro. You better get with her. And I'm like, oh, okay.
People are telling you to
get with her. You did.
And I did, you know, and that's what sucks. Like that's another part of the whole male role model and a father figure or anything that I didn't have somebody be like, hey, dude, slow down, think things through. You just turned 20. You know, you don't. I didn't have nothing at the time when I met her, you know, so it's just like, dang, like I said, just lust, a lot of lust and hormones and stuff. Yeah, but we get along now. It's great. Like I can hit her up and be like, hey, dude, I'm not gonna be able to get him this weekend. I'm working, or I got something going on. Or she'll tell me things too, like, hey, I got things going on. Is it cool, like, if I can keep him this weekend? And like that, like it's just straight like that. Like, you know, I even call her, you know, dude or bro or whatever. Hey, how you doing? And things like that. So everything is really great now, but it wasn't in the beginning. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's great that you have like some like a really well, you know,
relationship
now. Yeah. I think it's great that you have that.
Right. And an idea to like why it led down this road. Like he's like, oh, we can admit that it's like physical attraction, you know?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Wait. Well, just out of, like, now I'm being curious, but how does that? I mean, I'm guessing she's still physically attractive. Like, are you still not like?
Oh, this is the crazy part. I actually haven't seen her like in 2 years. Like physically seen her, but probably from far away. Like I'll wave and stuff. Like I don't, you know, I'll just text her, hey, I'm outside. Hey, you know, damn it.
Because you know how they say like when there was smoke. Or where donde hay ceniza, you know, like where there's ashes, there's, you know, there's always like a spark or something. I think he can't hear us now.
Can you hear us, Alex?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm sorry, dude. I should have went to like a coffee shop or something.
Oh, you're fine.
You're good.
Yeah.
So there's so there's like no sparks left. You know how people be like, oh, should people be worried or concerned?
She's married. Yeah, she's married. She actually got married.
So?
You know? No. I haven't seen her like physically, like I said, from far away, only like a wave. I text her, hey, I'm outside. Hey, I'm on my way. And just like that. Like it's just straight like that. Nothing whatsoever. Like I promise, like people say things linger, and honestly, for me, at least for me, she's my friend. You know, we're cool. Yeah, guys, I don't. Yeah.
Guys, I'm so sorry, but I'm getting like a cramp on my toe right now. So
on your toe?
It really hurts. It really hurts, and I've been trying to like keep it together for you guys. I was actually gonna stand up right now, but it went away. So thank God.
How does one get a cramp on your toe? Just your toe?
Yeah, so I have my feet dangling a bit because I'm on top of a pallet. Okay, it's a whole thing. I'm on top of a pallet. I have my chair on top of a pallet, so my legs are kind of dangling a bit. And I guess I stretched it too much, and it started to cramp. But I'm sorry. Like if I was making some sort of faces, I'm sorry, but that was the case right now.
No, you hit it very well. We didn't even know. Okay,
good. But yeah, I had to stop you guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, okay, Addie, go ahead.
So
so as you were telling us everything, it kind of like deleted a whole lot of questions for us too.
Yeah.
Why?
That one.
So some of the questions that we had were, is the mom involved? Which you answered before the episode.
You answered already.
Yeah, you answered it. Is her side of the family involved in any way? Which of course she's involved. Well, that's it.
Yeah, my son's always telling me when he goes to his grandma's and grandpa's and stuff like that. When he does stuff, and yeah, they're involved. Like everything's cool. Like honestly, you know, she turned around, man. She turned around, and I guess that time off that she took off worked because she's a great mom now. You know, she's involved in school. She was doing. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
You good?
We can see you. We can hear you. I think he can't see or hear us, and so he thinks that.
I'm so sorry,
he
guys.
Thinks that
I promise.
What's going on? We can hear you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's
kind of irritating.
No. We can hear you. Trust us. We can hear.
Cool,
we've been hearing everything you've been saying, so don't worry about us.
Yeah. Like I was saying, she's actually the one that put him in sports. He plays basketball and he wants to do football next.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the reason that she left in the first place? Did she ever tell you that?
I don't know. Like, she just wanted to be herself, I guess. You know. Yeah, I don't know. She just wanted to be herself, and I think that's one of my biggest flaws is that I'm too trusting of a person because I want to believe in people. Yeah. Because I want people to believe in me. So like I was just like, yeah, you know, do your thing and whatever. Because I could have been a fucked up person. I could have been messed up. Like, nah, man, you walked out of my kid's eye. You don't deserve to be. But I wasn't. You know, I thought about him.
Yeah.
Before I thought about myself and her. Like I said, I didn't want my son to be like, man, Dad, like, you know, there was a chance for my mom to be in my life.
No, of course.
You know? And it worked out. It's good because he loves his mom a lot. He's always telling me, but, you know, and she's told me too. She's like, you know, I talked to him and actually recently she told me I had a chance to speak to her for like a couple minutes and she was telling me that he kind of openly admits that he kind of like, she doesn't feel bad about it. She's like, I don't feel bad about it. And I know what I did and that my son actually would much rather be living with me again.
Yeah.
And so she didn't feel any type of way. But I know here in the state of Texas, when you're 12, you're legally allowed to choose which parent you want to live with.
Oh, okay.
So we're waiting until he turns 12 to come so he can come back to live with me.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
But I do want to go ahead and take you back in time from the time that you were with him. Which you said the age that you were with him was around when he was 2 through 6, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I do want to take you back to that time that you were with him by yourself. At that time, did any of her family was any of her family involved in any way? Did any of them try to get a hold of you to have a relationship with them?
Her sister sometimes, but not as much.
Okay.
Yeah, her sister, but it wasn't like, and you know, thinking about it exactly right now, I kind of felt some type of resentment, like towards the rest of her family or even her mom. Like I was like, man, you know, like I don't care about my kid, you know, like,
right,
you know, and in a weird way, I felt like I'm a maluchona, like a person that was struggling. Like I'm like, man, like I got my kid, you know. Nobody, you don't have to buy nothing. You don't have to be nice for my kid. You don't have to be there for my kid. Like I kind of felt some type of resentment, you know. Like I said, I was.
Yeah.
I'm growing as a person through that time as well, and I did feel some type of resentment, you know, because they weren't that as involved in things, and how our relationship ended. I felt betrayed as well because they still took her side. Like they still were like, oh, well, you know. And I hate that, you know, I really hate that when things like that, they always, and I'm sorry for this, but I do feel strongly as I feel like no matter the situation, the guy will always look like the bad guy. At least for me, in my personal life, the guy, I still look like the bad guy, you know, because this is another side story. Once she had a seizure in the middle of the night. She woke up and she was trembling, couldn't breathe. I called 911. I'm crying, and they come help. And the first thing they do once they got her to function, you know, to get back functioning normally, they ask her if I beat her, if I do anything, and I heard that, and I kicked them out of my house. I was like, man, get the fuck out of my house. I called y'all. I'm crying because I'm thinking my woman is dying.
Yeah.
And the first thing you ask is if I was beating on her, if I was anything, and I'm like, dude, you know, and that just, it sucks. You know, that's why I'm telling you, I guess in my personal life, I'm like, I got looked up like as like I was a bad person. Even when she took that time off away from my kids, and, you know, I still was looked like the bad guy. Like I was like, you know, on her family side, you know, man, what the hell, you know. So that's also probably why they didn't reach out. And our relationship ended was because she cheated on me, you know. Yeah. And I was like, nah, you know, that ain't it, Chief.
Exactly. No. Yeah, of course. You know, I feel like once a person cheats, that's it. There goes all the trust. There goes everything that you guys had.
Exactly.
So hard to build how you were very young when this happened. How did that affect like your social life, your way of dealing with things? Because just like you said, I was growing up myself. Like you were growing yourself. You said you were around 20 when this happened?
Yeah, well, I was 20 when my son was born. Almost 21. Yeah.
And so you were like around 22, 23 whenever she left.
Yeah.
That's a very young age.
Man, to be honest, I did as best as I could. I get frustrated from time to time, and I'd take them to my sisters and be like, man, can he stay with you, you know, for the day or whatever? And she'd be like, yeah, no problem. And I'd go out with my friends and I'd party, but then I'd come back and I feel like shit, you know. I'd be like, man, you know, I left my kid or things like that. And like I said, I won't ever claim to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. And I would be like, damn, you know, like I left my kid to go hang out, or like, you know. And even it also interfered as well with romantic life.
Because, of course.
And like I said, I don't know, maybe this is just my experiences. I've had women be like, "Oh, you have a kid? I can't mess with you." And
that was actually
one of my questions.
Yeah, that was gonna be
one of my questions. Was like, how is the dating scene? How is the dating scene being a single dad?
It's been terrible. It's been terrible.
So
like, it's terrible.
Would you say that a lot of women don't want to be with somebody who has a kid already, especially like in the like a female, when it comes to a female and a male?
Yeah. My ex-girlfriend, she didn't have no kids, and but she didn't want no kids whatsoever. So she was always cool about it. She was like, hey, look, you already have yours. But like, you know, like little things would be inconvenient from time to time. She'd be like, hey, you know, could there be a weekend where it's just me and you?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, okay, you know. Or like she kind of would like, hey, you know, this is not appropriate maybe for him, or like, because maybe you know, we all parent different.
Yeah.
And like what I saw was okay, maybe it wasn't okay for her, and I'd be like, no, it's no problem. Like he's okay, he's fine.
Yeah.
Or like things like that, you know. And like I'm a male, and like, you know, and I do show tough love to him too. Like we used to skateboard together. We would go to the skate park and stuff. He's really good at that too.
Yeah.
And when he'd fall and he'd hurt himself, like she'd be like, pick him up, check on him. I'm like, no, he'll be all right. You know, he'll be all right.
No,
and she's like, oh, you know, like you can't, you know, like, you know, we'd have minor disagreements like that, you know. And sometimes I noticed, you know, he is my kid. He'd be kind of jealous of her. And, you know, because, you know, like I explained to her, is like, and I'm sorry. And it sucks that maybe I shouldn't apologize to her, because it's like, he's my world, but I'm his universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he hasn't known nobody. He hasn't known anybody else that loves him as much as me. That's been there since day one, but me. So like when she came into the picture, he did feel, you know, you could tell he'd get moody, or like he'd want to be all over me. And I'm like, hey, you know, calm down, you know. And I didn't see it, you know. I was like, hey, you know, hey. But then eventually with time, I was like, okay, so I see she's got a point and things like that. So it's been a struggle here and there. I met this one girl, we kicked it off cool one time. And when I told her that I had my kid and he lived with me, and I was like, hey, well, I'd have to take him to my sister's, see she'll watch him. She wanted to do something, go out. And I was like, I'm not. And she's like, oh, well, I don't know if I could probably be with you because you have a kid and I don't want to be no stepmom. And I was like, you don't have to be nothing because we don't have to talk from here anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a deal breaker. That's a deal breaker right there. Yeah. That's okay. You know, obviously you're not going to accept me for for my son, and that's okay. That lets me know where we stand right there at the very moment.
Right there, and then why even bother?
And I guess that's why I say maybe it's just my experiences why I'm so strong about the whole women get the better side of things sometimes, because even then, like, how can I say, well, after that happens, like, when they're not wanting to be with you because of a kid or whatever, like, when women have, say they're in a relationship and they have like 2 kids and get with somebody and the guy doesn't have no kids, it's more acceptable. Like, oh yeah, well, I have 2 kids, and like, you gotta want me and what I come with, my package, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, why isn't it like that with
men?
With single dad, with men? Like,
yeah.
Oh no, I can't. Like, wait, what? You know, like, I feel like, but you know, other women have. I hope y'all can still hear me.
Yeah, we can still hear you. We can still hear you. We can still hear you.
You know, so I'll just wait.
No, we can still hear you.
He can't hear us. We can hear you.
Oh.
We can hear you. Can you see us? We can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so that's my main, like, another main thing that's like, wait, you know, but women are allowed to have kids and meet somebody that doesn't have no kids, and they like impose that, like, they impose, oh, well, if you want me, you gotta want everything that comes with me, and a lot of women are very adamant about that. They're like, you know, if not, get out of my face. And I'm like, if the minute I show that, it's like they tell me fuck you, you know, and I'm just like, okay, you know. And I feel like that's why I feel like, and then if I was to lash out, if I was to say something back or be vocal about it, I get, you know, backlash.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that's just my experiences. Nothing towards against nobody or anything. It's just my personal experience.
Your experience.
So do you introduce? So like that was one. So like, do you introduce like your girlfriends or your new dating partners to your kid, or do you wait until see like maybe something serious, or like? Or do you introduce them?
I don't. I've only introduced them to one girl. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which was my recent ex. Yeah.
How long were you and your recent ex together?
I think we talked / dated for like, I hadn't officially asked her to be my girlfriend, so we talked for like 6 months. It was like in May, and I asked her to be my girlfriend in November, and then we were together for like another 1.5 years. So like maybe 2 years, let's say all together 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and I introduced her to her, and I was more like you know, I was more wanting to be with her, so I was, you know, I introduced him to him kind of early on, and because so this is the deal. She's sisters to my best friend, so he kind of knew her already, and she was already around because I'd go around and things like that. So me and her started liking each other, and we started hanging out, and so he already knew who she was.
Yeah.
And so I just had to explain to him like, hey, look, I like her, and she's gonna be my girlfriend. And he was cool with it. You know, he didn't really say much, but not that he was cool. He just didn't say much. But he eventually started liking her a lot. He would ask me randomly, like, "Hey, when are we gonna hang out?" Or like, "Hey, are we gonna go see?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we are," and things like that. And he'd randomly say, "Oh, I miss her." I'm like, "Oh, I miss her too," you know. And I know he started, you know, liking her, warming up to her.
Yeah.
So, but that's it. Only her and stuff like that I really, really introduced him to. But everybody else was like, I'm very cautious about it because I don't want him to, you know, I don't want to give him that bad image. That goes being back to the parent. You know, you like, man, my dad would always bring hella girlfriends to the house, or, you know, that's what I don't want him saying or doing, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Even though, like, to a kid, it's like, my dad has hella girlfriends, but that's not who I'm raising. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not raising that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, going back to the wishing the parent I wish I had, you know, trying to be the parent I wish I had. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Yeah.
No. I was gonna ask one of my questions that I had. So whenever during the time period that you had him, how did you make sure that your child felt loved and supported, even though you were the only parent?
My love language is just physical touch and like words of affirmation. So like I would always just tell him how much I loved him. I'd kiss him and I'd hug him. And my main thing has always been like, don't ever be scared to show somebody love, especially me, and especially I told him, I always tell him this, I could be in front of a million people, and I'll reach over and give you a kiss and tell you how much I love you, and I want you to do that to me back. Don't ever be ashamed.
Yeah.
You know, don't ever be ashamed to love another man, which is me, your father, your cousins, or anybody. Like, show that. Always show love to the people you actually love and care about.
Yeah.
So like, that's always been a big thing. Like, I just always, you know, I like to hold him and tell him how amazing he is all the time, and how proud he makes me. And I can tell that does something to him, because he always tears up a bit. And like, you know, even now that he's 9 going on 10, you know, he really likes that. I can tell that he likes when I still give him his hugs and his kisses and stuff. So I've always practiced that throughout this whole time. Just show him love, talk to him. Yeah, talk to him, and he's always been my mini-me. So like, if I got something, he'd want it too. Or like, when I grew my hair out, he grew his hair out. If I went and got a pair of shoes, he'd want the same ones and stuff. So like, that, I know he always liked that. That was also another part of showing love. Like, hey, look, I was thinking about doing this, and you know, and doing things that he likes. So like, anytime he'd be like, Dad, I wanna go skateboarding, I wanna go bike riding. I even got him, got him into wanting to play a drum set, because he was just obsessed with being a rock star at one point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let's go get your drum set, like things like that. So it's like, I guess those are my, you know, showing them love between all those times. And I took pride in always telling him, hey, look, make sure to brush your teeth, cut your fingernails, you gotta look presentable. You know, when you shower, and make sure you always stay clean as much as you can. When you walk into somebody's house, you know, say hi, you know, push your chair in and things like that. So like, I just, you know, like I said, I was just always trying to do all those things while he was little, and even up till now, like, hey, look, you always be respectful, you know. And even to my ex-girlfriend, we saw her once, and I told him, make sure that you go say hi to her.
Yeah.
You know, you don't, you know. And he knew that we weren't together. I had to explain that to him too.
Okay.
Like, hey, look, things just don't work out. And so I still did that. I was still like, hey, look, when you see her, like I said, she is my my best friend's sister, so I'll see her from time to time.
Yeah.
And when I saw her recently, last month, I told him, hey, look, she's gonna be there. I need you to go. When you walk into that room, you say hi to everybody, and she's gonna be there. Make sure you say hi to her. And he did, you know.
Oh, nice.
So that's why. So I try to, you know.
Man, let me tell you something. You and your son are gonna have like the best relationship growing up too, man. Like,
yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I tell him he's my best friend. I tell him he's my best friend all the time.
Yeah, and he's gonna know that for sure, and that's a good relationship right there, and especially because it's just you and him.
Yeah,
that's definitely like a definitely good thing. So back when he was with you, how did you manage the household responsibilities and the chores with him?
I think
I'll be right back.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I lived alone for like 2 years, so it wasn't really that hard at the time, because like I'm not a messy person. I didn't make a mess, and like, he had his own little room. I lived in an apartment, and he had his room. And you know, kids will be kids, so there'll be things thrown everywhere, and I'd be like, pick that up, or I wouldn't really, you know. But like, you know, if it was just me and him eating, I'd make enough for both of us. I'd wash, clean, and I've always washed his clothes too, separate. And I taught him how to fold his clothes at a young age too. I'd be like, look, these are your drawers, and these go hanged, so we're gonna put these to the side and things like that. So I've always done pretty. Like I said, I don't think I'm the best, but you know, but I've always done pretty good for myself when it came to doing that. And he knew as well. He knew as well that like, hey, I'm gonna vacuum. You know, don't be running around right now. Go sit down, or go watch TV real quick while I go do this real quick. You know, things like that. So
yeah.
And you know, and I don't want to be like I was able to just pawn them off to technology real quick while I did things, but hey, it worked.
Right? No. Yeah. Well, sometimes we got to do things to actually distract them sometimes.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, look, I'd give them a tablet or a phone, or I'd be like, hey, look, go watch TV real quick. Well, I did X amount of things. So.
Gotcha. Before we go ahead and continue, I do want to go ahead and promote. Go ahead. I'm over here repeating myself so many times. I got to work on that. Guys. I want to go ahead and promote my cousin's floral over there in the Dallas area. So if you over there in the Dallas area, like I mentioned, go ahead and hit up Flores Amor Co. C-O?
Amore.
Amore. Is it Amore or Amore?
Amore.
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 Amore. Oh, well, yeah. Shout out to my cousin Melissa, who's the proud owner, her and her mother, on this beautiful little business they got going on with their floral arrangements, as well as their decorations for all these special events that they have going on. I'm very proud of her for that, and definitely I'm very proud of my tia for actually making that happen. So if you're in the Dallas area, go ahead and hit them up. Follow them on Instagram if you have a special event coming up. They will get you squared away as much as possible. They will handle everything with care, and they actually put a lot of effort and love in everything they got going on. So make sure you guys hit them up if you haven't already. Follow them. That's Flores Amor CO on Instagram. And just follow them, put your order in. I know Father's Day is coming up, and a lot of us don't get a lot of recognition for that. Like I was telling Addie before the episode, I feel like I just feel like Father's Day isn't really publicized as much as has a lot of publicity as much as Mother's Day does. And I don't know if it's because the kids are at school during the time of Mother's Day, and I don't know what the case may be, but I want to do something for Father's Day. Yeah, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, I've always felt some type of way.
I think because
I feel some type of way.
I mean, if I may, I think because fathers are always like, I don't know. It's just my experience. Like, they're gonna get things done, and they're not like moms where they're like, oh, so you're not gonna cook for me? Oh, so you're gonna let me like do my own things on Mother's Day? Like, oh, what do you mean you don't have plans for Mother's Day? Versus dads are like, yeah, it's cool, whatever. Like, you know, look, I feel like dads have always been more like it's cool, whatever. Like
I would be lying if I told you guys that there hasn't been a year that I was like, oh well, it's Father's Day coming up, oh well, whatever, it's just another day for me. And the thing is I think that I'm getting to a certain age to where I'm starting to care a little bit more about it, and I'm starting to see like, well, if Mother's Day was like this, how come we don't get it like that? Like, they have all these little deals at stores. Oh, Mother's Day sale at Mattress Firm, whatever the case may be.
Buy her a mattress, and you're like, what about me? Yeah. What about me?
Yeah, like,
yeah, you want a good night's rest.
Exactly, man. Like,
right?
There's it's no like, Father's Day sale. Yeah. Is there Father's Day sales? Like you guys tools. Have to. Yeah, half on tools so you can get more work done.
Exactly.
Right.
The irony.
Like, I don't know, you guys. I feel like, man, I don't know. We gotta step it up somehow.
Yeah.
We gotta make it more of a more recognizable, I guess. But that's what I want to do, man. I want to do episode this whole month, in tribute to fathers, because I know fathers are just as important as mothers. I know there's sometimes that there's some things that mothers can do that fathers can't, but still, fathers are equally as important as mothers. I truly believe that.
I must confess that I don't know what I was expecting when, like, you said, oh, I'm going to bring in a single father. And I don't mean this in a bad way. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was not expecting him to pull out things like, oh yeah, my love language. And I was like, okay, like, he's over here talking. I don't know. I wasn't expecting him to I don't know what I was expecting.
You thought you thought he lived in the street with his son or something, like
no, not like that either. No, not like that. But I don't know. I just didn't expect. I don't know what I expected. I really didn't. I really did not. I just expected more something like, oh yeah, like, it was hard or whatever. But I did not expect him to go into such detail about the way. I think it's the way he expressed himself. The way it's. If you notice his pattern of speech, or it's like he's like, oh, I clipped his nails, which is something that's such a small minor detail, but it's something that he brought up. And then it's little things like that, like, oh, hey, you still go say hi to her, little tiny details that I don't think that I personally, I don't know, I wouldn't have thought all, like a parent or a single father would have thought all of that through. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this is what I say, and like I was saying, Ricky, and I've told people that actually know me as well, even your wife. I tend to think I was called weird most of my life, but it's because now I just say I'm just misunderstood or I vibe different. I've just always been a huge fan of the small things in life, like the small things, and so I am implying that onto my kid, that the small things in life will always matter. You know what I mean? Like a Father's Day gift, like me, like I've been asked, hey, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for birthday? I always say, I just want a new pair of socks, underwear, and a sweater, and I will be totally happy because I need work socks, I need regular socks, and I like obviously underwear, but like that makes me happy. That makes me happy, and a new sweater or maybe even a new pillow. But that's just how I am.
Yeah, man, I completely understand that.
I apply it to my kid too. Like I tell them appearance and like all these small things. People say, that'll get you far, but I think our society has changed so much that we live so fast that people forget that.
True.
That's
forget
true.
all of that. So it's just like I do those things. Like I do those, and I think a lot of things through. Especially, I've had a very rough life, a very very rough life. So it makes me think about all the small things that I've missed out, and all this, So I just do that, I've had a very rough life. Your wife knows, I had a rough patch for a while, and it wasn't very good, and so that made me miss everything that I took for granted. Like even like I take pride in being able to wake up at 2-3 in the morning and get something out the fridge. That means a lot to me. That means a lot.
Because you're able to do
so
that.
It's just and at one point in my life I wasn't able to do that.
Yeah.
Or I didn't have a place to go do any of those things. And I've always struggled with not feeling enough. So like I just don't want my kid to feel that way either. So I have a lot of things that I'm just trying so hard to be the best I can to him, and raise him to be a gentleman, a gentleman, and I tell him to be well spoken and things like that, and also because of how I look, honestly, I have my body's full of tattoos, and you look at me and people are like, this is some thugged out mean ass dude, this is some thugged out mean ass dude, and then you hear me speak. And then you look at me and you see my demeanor as a person, and you're like, oh shit. Because I get it everywhere. Everywhere I go. They're like, damn, dude, I did not expect you to be that way or carry yourself this way. You look the complete opposite. So I guess
that's the best thing to do. That's the best thing to do is that break that
surprise
barrier.
People.
Yeah, that's to break barriers. Because whenever
I toes.
Yeah, when I deliver to customers, man, because I'm tatted up from one of my arms all the way. But of course, whenever I talk to them, I want to talk to them in a proper way, because most of the time I am proper. I say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, blah, whatever the case may be. But they are surprised that I can hold a conversation with them, even though they look very different from me.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty awesome. Whenever you could prove to them that we could be just as cool as they can. Yeah. It doesn't matter what you look like on the outside.
Yeah, what you look like, what you do, and where you're from, and what color you look like. What your skin tone is.
Exactly.
Like, I've always been big on that. Like,
Yeah, that's crazy. Because I don't know what I was expecting. But
what's crazy is that
I don't know.
I'm dark, and my son is very light skinned, very very light skinned. He looks like a little white boy, and he has brown hair. He has brown, like light brown hair.
What's your nationality, Alex?
Cool. Me, I'm Mexican.
Oh, you're Mexican. Oh, see, he's representing la raza.
I'm Mexican, but everybody thinks Hawaiian.
You know what? I could have gone either way, because
I need a clearer picture. I need a clearer.
I was gonna say Dominican.
Yeah, that too.
I was gonna think. I thought Dominican.
I thought Dominican.
Yeah, my hair is super curly.
I see it. Yeah,
it's
I'm
the hair.
I'm dark. I have big lips and high cheekbones and stuff. So it's like everybody always thinks that. They get so surprised. I'm like, I'm Mexican as far as I know.
Oh hell yeah!
As far as I know, my dad and my mom are from Mexico. So
Okay, so see, he represented La Raza right there by taking care of his kids.
Yeah.
He took it, man, single father right there for like 5 years almost.
Yeah.
There you go. I do have one more question before we head out. Well, that question was, and I'm glad I saved this for last because it could be very long, and it's very important. What are some of the most rewarding aspects of being a single father? Of course, you're not a single father anymore, but what were they?
I get to see my kid every day. I got to see my kid every day at the time. Yeah,
that's true.
Every day, and watching him grow. Watching him grow, and like I pointed out, like all his little interests. I was watching his little brain just like today. Like I said, he wanted to be a skateboarder. He wanted to be a rock star. And he wanted to do this and he wanted to do that. I'm like, okay, let's go. And he got into race cars for a while and everything, and like he's big on music with me too. I collect vinyls.
Yeah.
And he'll go out with me looking for them. And it's crazy, he knows my music taste so much that if he'll see an album that I listen to or whatever, he'll be like, look, Dad, don't we listen to this? Don't we listen to this? I'm like, oh yeah, we do. I'm like, we do. Like, let's see how much it is, and things like that. So like that's very rewarding for me, being a father, a single father, anything. Just that connection I got with him, man. That connection that he knows me as much as I know him. Yeah, that he knows me. He knows my music taste as well. He knows how I am, and he knows like when he messes up, he knows I'm gonna be upset. Like he'll tell me, I just don't want me to be upset, Dad. I'm sorry. He apologizes to me, and I apologize to him as well when I mess up. And just having that connection, dude, like he's my friend, we're friends, but he knows that at the end of the day, I'm his father. And if I have to reprimand him or if I have to just like be a father and be like, hey, look, dude, I said no is no. And it is what it is, and I know better than you, it's to an extent, to a level, but it's just that, dude, I just like being friends with him. He's cool.
Literally your best friend. Did you ever have more friends? You had more friends growing up, right?
Yeah.
And they understood your situation and stuff.
Not the ones that I was going partying with. They'd be like, damn, dude, like you can't, and I'm like, I can't always pawn my kid off every weekend. I can't, I gotta spend time with him, like, and eventually with time you're like, man, these aren't friends, these are just going out buddies. But actually, like a lot like my actual friends that would know me or invite me to stuff, like when they hit me up like, hey dude, we're having this, and they'd be like, oh, bring your kid too. They already knew, yeah, you can bring your kid, bro. Like before I asked, like, hey, can I bring my kid? They already knew, like, yeah, man, bring your kid, dude, and things like that. So
that's
they
awesome.
knew and they understood that I had my kid at all times and stuff.
That's when you knew who your friends were, especially whenever.
That's when you know.
Yeah, and I had friends that'd be like, hey, I'm having this and that, bring your kid. Or I had a few friends that would be like, hey, can I borrow your kid for a day? Like on the weekend, I'd be like, why? Oh, it's because my cousin's having this, and like I think he would like it. And I'm like, okay. One of my cousins took my kid to a Harry Potter thing in Corpus Christi once. Yeah.
Okay.
She took him for the weekend. Yeah, I remember that one too. And my sister as well. She does now a lot more too. She'll be like, hey, can I get him for the weekend? Hey, and I'll be like, she'll ask me, hey, are you having him? I'm like, I'm not. And okay, good. I'll call his mom, and they'll get in touch and my son will go over there.
All right.
So everybody eventually.
How many siblings do you have right now? Or right now, like in general?
Okay, so like in total with my biological father, I think we were about maybe 10.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Like 10, and just for my mom it's 4. I'm the oldest, and I have 3 younger sisters.
And do you stay connected with your siblings?
Yeah, I do a lot more now. It wasn't like that at a point. Everybody had like a falling off, and I think it runs in everybody's life when everybody's out doing their own thing, living their own life. Like I didn't see them as much, and they were, going different ways in their life. So, and either I approved or didn't approve and things like that, because I am the oldest, I am the only male. And, they do certain things I didn't like. I'd be like, nah, you know what? And I tell them like, I think you should be doing that. But at the end of the day, they're their own people. So I'd kind of slow down on talking to them. But we've had a recent big connection.
Yeah.
So I talk to them a lot more, and we hang out, and we go out, just to hang out, us siblings. It's been cool. It's been really cool.
That's good, man. I'm glad. I feel like there has to be, some sort of, bond between everybody. Yeah. And that's good to have. And especially being a big family like you have. I think that's pretty great.
Well, right now, the only ones I hang out with is my mom. I don't really see the ones on my dad's side because they're all over the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Spreading seeds.
Yeah. And that goes back to being a better father than who I actually had. My dad, even though things happened and he got incarcerated, he wasn't there for his other kids that were before me.
That's true.
I mean? Yeah.
I do have one more question for you.
Go ahead, dude.
This is going to be one of the additional ones. Did you ever have a scary experience with your son whenever it was just you and him? Something that you had to figure out right then and there, something that you had to go on survival mode or something?
No, not really. I mean, he'd get sick and I'd take care of him, the only way I would know how, and just trying to be there. But I've never really put him in any type of dangerous environment either.
Yeah.
When we were doing the race car thing, we'd go out to car meets or go out to the track and things like that, but never I'd never be in the mix of things. When they start kind of getting rowdy, I'd be like, all right, come over here, So never, I've never put him in situations where I've never took him around anything like that. And even when it came to me, either drinking at parties and things like that, I don't drink when I'm with him.
Awesome.
And I don't let him see me like that. He's never seen me drunk, or
that's good.
He's never. I don't smoke at all.
Yeah.
So I can never give him that example. The only thing he could probably ever try to tell me is, I'm gonna get a tattoo. I'd be like, okay, we'll just try to put it where you can't see it for now.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I'm covered in tattoos. What I look like telling him, no, don't get a tattoo.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in situations, no, I don't. I haven't, and I'm grateful that I haven't had a scare with him with a broken bone or a health issue or anything, or where I've had to race to get him in school or anything like that. No.
That's great.
I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful. Yeah. Right now that I think about it, that you're asking, no. And I'm very grateful for that. Yeah.
No, that's great. Yeah. Cause I know myself, I've had some scary experiences with my kids and or at least one or two of them, but still it's rough. No, it could be scary. But yeah. I thought you were gonna say something.
No, I'm saying no. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have that bad habit, but no, agreeing and then I'm still going. Yeah.
Did you have anything for him, Maddie? Anything else for him?
No, not any questions. Just wow,
he pretty much answered everything to a
everything, right? Yeah.
You scratched off a lot of questions.
That is, I know. I was just forget this, forget that. It's just, that's a lot of blessings. That's.
I get during the time that all these things were happening, I didn't feel like it. I think once when I did, quote unquote, was homeless for a week. I did sleep in my car with him until because I had my lease was over at the apartment I was living at, and I had to, whatever. But it had took a few days, and I had to get out of there.
Yeah.
And I did stay, and I was too embarrassed to reach out to my sister or my mom, hey, can I come? Because, I was 24 or 23, and I'm big dog, I can't let them know that I'm, I don't want to live with them, So it was just my pride but besides that, no, I've always just, just persevered as much as I can. And at the time, it felt like I was struggling, and it was man, I'm just always in deep stuff, and I'm not being the best I can be towards him.
Yeah.
But right now, thinking about it, and with y'all asking me all these questions, and I've been pretty good. I've had a blessed time.
No,
with
absolutely.
him, and I hope it continues to happen. Yeah, I hope it continues to happen with him. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Alex. Thank you for your story, actually, for your experience. Really, wow. That's all I could say because
definitely learned something. I learned something.
Yeah, I hope it broadens out y'all's perspective and hearing it firsthand and like literally firsthand because like I think we're all in the same area, right? Same city.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we're all in Houston. Yeah.
I'm grateful. Thank you. I've never done this before. I'm a little shy.
No.
Thank you for answering. Thank you for helping us celebrate Father's Month.
But I'm pretty sure I can hear me.
And thank you for sharing all your story.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your story, Alex. You mentioned you can't really see us right now, but thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for sharing your story, for telling us everything you did, whether it was your struggles, your triumphs, whatever it was. I think you did an absolute amazing job raising your son, and I just hope that a lot of people that are struggling, with their kids, being a single father, can hear this episode and be like, wow, he's a true inspiration to me and can overcome anything pretty much.
Yeah.
All the single ladies out there, don't roll them out.
Yeah.
They're out here driving.
Yeah.
They're out here driving.
When you were saying about the whole LGBTQ movement thing, that's why I'm so against it, because like I'm not against it. Like I hate that they're pushing it on my kid. Like I want my kid to be his own person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if my kid turns to being gay or anything, I'll still love him and I'll still support him. But I don't push it onto his life to be like, should I be? Is it okay?
Right,
like if he's gonna be curious, let him be curious on his own and let him come talk to a parent.
Exactly.
Somebody that he knows, trusts, and loves, instead of going to go talk to somebody that just wants him to join the wave. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you, based on what you've said and told, I think you established such a good connection that he would come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, this happened at school, or like, hey, this is what I'm being told. Like, hey, that this, hey, that, which I think every parent in general should have, like, take note from that and see that there's a strong connection to where they can feel free to come and communicate.
Yeah.
And like, hey, this, hey, that,
Yeah, like I said, that's why I'm being the way I am, because I didn't have that with my mother or my stepdad or dad. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, like I mentioned before, thank you so much, Alex, for joining us,
of course, thanks, Ricky.
Nah, man, you're great. You're a great person, and honestly, but I feel like Belen has never talked to me about you. But I am truly happy that she told me about this side of the story, so that way I could learn a little bit more about you. And I think you're a great person, and you're a great father, and you and your son are gonna have a great relationship growing up. I wish you all nothing but the best, of course.
Stay blessed.
Stay blessed. Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll reach the end of the show. I just want to thank everybody for joining us on the live. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Addie, for having a great conversation. For the audience, whoever watches us later on tonight or later tomorrow, who knows when they watch us, right? But thank you so much for joining us. I'm gonna leave you guys. Go. I'm gonna let you guys go because I actually have a lot of visitors here at the house.
Oh, okay. Oh my God. Go get with your visitors. Hello, visitors.
I hope they're still there. I hope they haven't left. But yeah, I have some visitors here at the house. I told them I was going to be gone for like an hour, which I was. Okay. But thank you guys so much. Thank you, Alex. Good night, Addie, and I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys shortly. Bye, guys.